There was once a dream that was Rome. You could only whisper it. Anything more than a whisper, and it would vanish.
Baby, now I got the flow, 'cause I know it from the start. Baby, when you broke my heart, that I had to come again and show you that I'd win. Your love of mine. All those times I said that I love you. Your love of mine. Yes, I tried. Yes, I tried. Your love of mine. Even though you know I died for you. Your love of mine. Yes, I cried. Yes, I cried. Return of the man. Return of the man. Come on. Return of the man. Oh my God. You know that I've been there. Here I am. Return of the man. Once again. Return of the man. Up off the world. Return of the man. My soul. You know that I've been there. Here I go.
Hey! Chichurums! Lift it salon! Calling our sister, I know they breaking the wall. Calling our sister, I know they breaking the wall. Alô, que deu?
You know, we have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
You know, I haven't seen a mask in so long. You're wearing a mask. So nice of you. I haven't seen anybody wearing a mask in a long time. It's good. You feel more comfortable, right? Good. That's good. So go ahead.
Hello, faggot lovers everywhere. I've a message for you from Birdseye. Birdseye faggots will appeal to your whole family. They've made them with lashings of gravy, but they've gone easy on the spice because kids don't like them too spicy, apparently. Birdseye even suggests that people who don't like faggots could enjoy these. They live in hope. You know, they could be right.
Hey, Mike.
Hello.
I was under the impression that you hated faggots until you tried those spicy faggots.
Yeah. Like I said, they're the only ones I want. We said it last week. I don't want no bland, lumpy.
Yeah, mundane. Yeah. Yeah. No, if you want to, the only good faggot is a spicy faggot.
Well, the kids don't want the spicy ones, and that's fine with me. I'll take them.
Well, they're just kids. They don't know yet.
They'll learn.
Kids like regular faggots.
If ever there was a thing that aged poorly, it might be that.
Yeah,
that commercial.
They want the most mundane, bland faggots ever. That's because they're kids yet. They don't know. They don't know what they're missing.
How could they know?
So.
Yeah.
Speaking of spicy faggots, Raptor is still streaming, so I guess we're gonna have to stream compete.
We must surely have more viewers than he does.
I think we have a 10th. Okay, it's okay. They'll come over. I kind of prepared a show, Hey, how'd you like the thumb?
I liked how I'm putting the money back into my jacket.
No, you're pulling it out. You're pulling it out.
I'm seeing it and I'm like, no, this was earmarked for that. But then I saw what was on display I like my strippers with less facial hair, and then I just put the money back.
Last I checked, you like spicy faggots. So I don't
That's
think
true,
that's true.
Yeah.
Let me bring it up.
I'll be there.
Yeah, I was like, I got to come up with something, and I was like, oh yeah, the Peep Show,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was great.
Let's see here. Sure. Entire.
I was watching with Victoria the ones I could watch, some of the old shorts from the old days. God, they're funny. And I was just like, man, Camel used to put so much work and effort into his show.
They just show up. But you know what? I mean, at the same time, the audience is corresponding. So it's like,
That's true. Yeah.
What do you expect when you don't do anything?
Mhm.
See, I don't think you're putting the money back. I think you're pulling it out. You're like, look what I found.
Mm.
No?
Look at the face. It's like I'm not impressed.
Yeah.
With what I'm seeing. Even like your body, there's not much going on there,
Yeah, that's true. If this was left, right, and center, I would be out.
Yeah. You would look at that fold of the skin and be like, ew, what's that?
The one in the back. Yeah, that's disgusting. Just fucking kill yourself. No man could ever love you. Oh, Kilmer died.
I saw. Yeah, I'm still processing that.
It's funny. I saw it at like 4 a.m, and I was like, is this leftover from yesterday? What kind of fucking horrible April Fools would that be? I bet you he did die yesterday, and they didn't want to say anything because they thought people would think it was April Fool's, so they were like, "We'll hold on to it."
No, I don't know. I mean, did you see the last video he put up?
Oh, I mean, he's been dying for 10 years, but yeah.
So, I mean, when it happened, I was like, yeah. It's funny that to me, see, I still have not seen the Val Kilmer Batman. Still haven't seen it.
What? Really?
I haven't seen it. And
how is that possible?
So to me, Val Kilmer is Iceman and Doc Holliday.
Doc Holliday.
Yeah. Doc Holliday dies like that as well,
Yeah.
Slow deterioration.
Poetic.
So it was
it was called Batman Forever because they thought it was going to be the last Batman movie. Until it made $100 billion. And then they're like, oh, I guess we'll make another one. But
no, I like the one where he plays like a is it an assassin or a spy or something where he can change?
Oh,
it's not a Batman movie,
right? The Saint.
Yeah, I like that one. I remember that. It's probably terrible. It's got Elizabeth Shue in it, and that was like when she was really hot. I remember.
Yeah, and they're like discovering cold fission or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she's like the smartest scientist who ever lived. They still haven't cracked. They still haven't cracked the like actual hot fusion yet. But this blonde 20-something-year-old cracks cold fusion. Makes sense.
Yeah, there's that scene where they're in the sewer. And she's like, I'm so cold, and they have to take each other's clothes off to like rub up against each other. It's like, I don't know how accurate that is, but yeah, The Saint was a show with Roger Moore before he was James Bond, and
I didn't know
he was a spy. And so when they made the movie, they had Val Kilmer doing it. But I remember thinking, see, Batman Forever came out before The Saint, maybe by a year or two. And to this day, I've still maintained that Val Kilmer is my favorite Batman. He's always been my favorite.
Yeah, I've heard you say that.
Because he has the most like sort of he's stoic, but he's also very like he's much more of a detective in that movie. And I just, I like the way he fights. Like everything about him worked for me as Batman. My headcanon of Batman, a lot of people, they have Kevin Conroy or Michael Keaton, but yeah, for me, it's always been Val Kilmer. So yeah, I was bummed we never got a second movie with him. But anyway, when he played the Saint, I was like, oh, it's kind of like, like a backdoor James Bond. So it was like he's Batman and Bond, and I just thought that was amazing. But and now he's gone. Let's see here. Nate for $10 says, "Rest in peace, Iceman, Batman, and Doc Holliday. Batman Forever is a great film. Fight me." They've been trying to get this director's cut off the, like fucking take it off for like 10 years. And I think maybe they actually will now because he died this year. Because Batman Forever hit 30 years this year. So.
Who's the actress with the really huge hands? Red hair. Jennifer Tilly.
Jennifer Tilly doesn't have red hair.
Doesn't she?
No, I don't think so.
Anyway, she wrote a really cool story on Twitter. I just want to read it quickly. It's short. A long time ago, I was auditioning for the movie The Doors. That's probably the first time I ever on a Top Gun, obviously. Yeah, what am I thinking?
Yeah.
It was kind of a cattle call. They paired together potential Jims with potential Pamelas. They were running behind. Who was spilled out on the casting office, sitting on the porch, the lawn, the driveway. All of a sudden, a 60s convertible comes screeching up, blaring Doors music at top volume. And a guy jumps out and just strode inside. He had wild hair. He was barefoot, shirtless, wearing nothing but a pair of tight leather pants. We all looked at each other and we're like, who the hell is this? And we were more than a little shocked by the sheer audacity of the entrance. Well, of course, it was Val Kilmer. And from that minute on, nobody else stood a chance. You're king. I can picture that. And
he was the part. He was like, yeah, I'm getting this today.
The dude who played Johnny Ringo has said that someone asked him, what was it like working with Val? And he says, I don't know. I never met him. And he's like, he was Doc Holliday. That's I only ever met Doc Holliday. Like he obviously did like method acting or something, and he was so dialed in.
But that story about him getting the Doors part, that reminds me of what I think Michael Keaton said at one point. He's like, I never auditioned. I went to work. And so when I would go in, that was the character. That was who I was playing. I wasn't pretending to do anything. I was going to work. And sometimes you got paid and sometimes you didn't. I was like, that's an interesting way to look at it. Sumo Thori, happy birthday, Sumo. Is that correct?
Yes. And I'm the one who announced it.
Oh, okay. Well, for Sumo's birthday, I would like $200 in super chats. I think that he would be very happy with that. I know I would be very happy with that. He says, backdoor James Bond. Yeah, well, it's not what I meant, but.
Sumo, did you see my message on Twitter? I don't know if you saw it. I don't know if you've been on Twitter.
I saw something. Let's see. Would it be in replies, maybe?
No, it was an actual post.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Very good.
I found it. Like they make these happy birthday videos for virtually everyone. And I thought, I'm just going to Google it. I don't expect there to be a happy. No, there is a video on YouTube that is happy. It's Happy Birthday Sumo. I guess Sumo is a Japanese name.
Yeah.
As well as wrestler. I don't know.
Sumo Thor. Oh, I'm sorry. Coke Zempic says, do memberships count? Of course. Of course memberships count.
Yeah,
but
you get.
You'd have to, I mean, for $200, that would be, what is that? That's divided by 5, carry the orange. What is that, 20?
What is it? How many
memberships?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, we're waiting.
Mike, we're going to spend our entire show looking at your timeline.
Oh, goody.
Oh, so speaking of this, look what I got.
Does everyone else tweet like me? You just wait until you're taking a dump, and then you just...
I never tweet, so, unless I have something to share. And then I get 5 likes on it, and I get angry about it. And I'm like, why the fuck am I on Twitter? And then it's because I don't tweet enough. I'm like...
Yeah, no, it took. God, it probably took me 2 to 3 years before I got any traction, and I was like every day. It's you're like,
I just
but
don't have that much to say, you know.
no.
Like,
Yeah, some people are really good at it. I'll like do a couple of retweets. If there's
yeah,
something that's happened that's kind of funny, but that rarely happens in my life.
hey, look at that! Look at that!
Bada bing,
10
ask and you shall
Camel
receive.
membership. That's like $50. And then not bad. Very, very good. Thank you. So that's just 10, 30 more memberships to go. That's great. Welcome to the Peep Show, everyone. We're gonna shut this shit down as soon as the money dries up. I did want to show this though. I got this.
Ooh.
Yeah. Very nice. Very, very cool. I've talked with Pear about doing a project together, actually. We just have to find the time to do it. But it's like, it's years ago, I wrote a script for a black and white movie. And it's I think it's good anyway. Anyway, he read it and he liked it. And so hopefully we're going to try to get it together. It's probably not going to happen this year just because, everyone's fucking schedules are crazy. But I can't wait to read it. I haven't gotten a Pear book since maybe $4.99, so it'll be fun to sit down and check that out.
The last one I read was Hotel Story, which was fantastic. And the one before that was the dog one, and he's about to release the finale to that. So
okay. And I think Vatican City, I'm just gonna wait till all three are out and just buy them all at once. But I'm excited for that too. So.
Well, I'm thinking what happens usually with these things is they put out the trade afterwards, and considering it's him and Mark Miller, they might just even crowdfund it. I don't know. Like they've done that.
Oh yeah,
people have done that before in the past. So
yeah. Everyone, get your memberships if you want them. Go get them. It looks like a lot of people got them. Bandito got him. What's up, Bandito? Time scales, Eric, whatever. George, Henry. Okay. Oh, good. All right. Very good. I just want to make sure people are getting them. Excuse me. I also noticed too that Snarkticom has he has the logo of the camel against the sunset there. That's like the hardest logo to get. Or like avatar. That means that he's been a member for
it's a true
2 years or something.
Friend and fan.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, Snark. Snark and your 0 super chats, but at least you're still here. So, I have some pretty good stories for this week. Maybe we'll see. Let's see what we got here. I'll bring this over. I'm gonna have to, unfortunately, get rid of this. I'll put this back up. I don't really have any updates except that I spoke with my rep at the company that's doing the figures, and they're going to start doing the villains, and I think I found an option for a case, and I don't really know, but essentially it's going to be this like blister. It's like a clamshell, and you open it up, and you can take the figure out. And then against the back of it will be the board. But the blister is probably about an inch or two higher than the toy is. So I think I'm going to print the back and then fold in some extra.
So we can stand up?
Yeah, and then it'll also take up the entire space in the blister too. So I think that could work.
Yeah, because usually they would have an inset plastic that sort of hold your guy in shape. I guess that's custom.
But
I know
unfortunately a custom inset is remarkably expensive.
You can get a machine. I don't know how expensive it is. Where it's about like that, and you get plastic sheets, and it'll mold over whatever you put there. I don't know how expensive it is, and what the supplies cost or anything, but probably not. Yeah, probably cost prohibitive for what you're thinking.
Yeah, and the other thing too is I want to make a box so that people can take them out easily and then display them or play with it or give it to their kids or put it back in the box. And if you have a tray, then you got to pop the tray out, and it's like you don't want to keep putting them back in the tray. So the trays are usually disposable. So and the blister, with the exception of the bottom, is perfectly the right length and depth, or right width and depth, I would say. So it should be pretty snug if I can just figure out how to put a piece of cardboard at the bottom of it, which could be cool too, because then I can put the character name on it or whatever.
Yeah, if you get the cardboard and you fold it up into like a little square thing.
In fact, depending on the size, I might even be able to fold it at the top too, give it a header, and then give it a piece at the bottom too. It could actually be a pretty cool looking design that I can even bring to cons and stuff too. So yeah, that could look good. All right, I'm gonna bring this stupid thing up here. What is this? This is okay. Facebook. Okay, here we go. Okay, you can see this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to pull this down here. Maybe I'll do it like this. Okay.
Excuse me. My friend set me up with a blind date. Was it with you? Thank God.
I think she was with someone.
I haven't done that, but I've done something pretty close. We were at a bar once, and there were a bunch of girls over at another whatever. They were at another booth, and they were all like screaming and just having a good time. And I went over and I said, "Hi, how are you?" And my name's Will. And one of them started looking at me, and I was like, "Hey." I was like, "Can you guys just shut the fuck up?" I walked away. So I was like, "I can't fucking listen to this anymore." Anyway,
I'm sure they appreciated that.
Yeah.
Honest feedback.
You know what? I probably had a better chance back then of getting laid with a comment like that than anything else. So
I think it's still like that. I don't think anything has changed.
I know. That's the funny part. But back then I was just actually a dickhead, so I very genuinely meant it. I wasn't even trying to be funny. I was like, just stop talking. All right, let's bring this up here. Okay, I haven't listened to this. I assume we're gonna get rid of this. Let's see what happens here. Have you seen this, Mike?
Oh.
I don't know.
صغير تولع
There goes your deposit on your Airbnb.
What is going on? I mean, are they like attracted to the heat, or are they retarded?
I think it's they're like, goats will climb up onto a cliff.
A cliff that's like this steep. And
and they'll just hang out there. That's what I'm thinking. Of all animals, this surprises me the least. Romy says ticks. Self-cooking dinner. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
ticks? Like they have ticks, so they're trying to.
Yeah, maybe they go into heat to burn ticks off. I don't know. But they have hoofs, so they could walk on the fire.
Yeah.
And I guess it would hurt them less than a normal foot, but still, it's pretty weird.
I kind of feel like I would just let them hang out in there because they got
they wanted to go in there.
Yeah,
clearly.
In fact, all of them did. So I'm just like, at what point did they realize like, oh, I'm on fire and they need to leave? Like, just like, let's see what happens. I'd be okay with it.
And goats.
So speaking of animals, now this is really interesting stuff because I found this. There's this new trend where I guess you can get your, your pets to dance. Have you seen this at all? This is insane.
No.
Look at this.
We had Ooh, oh my god!
Assim, albergue. Boto na cama, te soca, banana, o que é que tu faz? Eu te boto na cama, te soca, banana, o que é que tu faz? Eu te boto na cama, te soca, banana, o que é que tu... E ela faz, ó. Se eu te boto na cama, te soca, banana, o que é que tu faz?
Oh, that's like visceral.
Good night, everybody. Sweet dreams.
Why is that more disgusting than watching open heart surgery,
Yeah, I think I've thought of this too. It's like, because we've seen some stuff where you're just like,
We've seen some things,
we've
man.
seen some shit. Well, I thought of like, just especially like, I don't know if it was last week, the week before, we were watching some of this AI shit. And I thought, like, what if I showed this? My grandmother just passed maybe a year ago or so. It was right before all the videos. Let's put it that way. Maybe it was 2 years ago. And I was like, imagine if like I showed her this stuff, or like the fucking disgusting shit we would see on Cursed AI. And I was like, I don't even know if she'd be able to wrap her head around what she was looking at, Because it's hard for us, and we grew up watching trash.
It's so weird because it's new, so it's not anything that anyone's ever seen before, but everyone has the same physical revulsion. Where it's like everyone's saying, I never want to see it again. Like, stop.
Yeah.
Although Coke says that's how we have videos of Camel walking. Yeah, exactly. You take the good with the bad.
It's got to be, it's like the next level of uncanny valley. Whatever that is, your brain is like, I see what's happening, but it doesn't gel with my reality. And so I can't, Yeah.
Literally what I imagine hell to be. Dancing AI dogs, and then people at pizza parties where they put fingers into their faces and come out as pizza. Shit like that.
Start eating themselves. This one here, that's the one.
Like, if you saw that, you would blast it with a shotgun.
I kind of want, like, I want movies to start doing this. I want, like, there needs to be a.
You'd be the only one.
Yeah, well, hold on, let me finish. The guy who did Evil Dead, Sam Raimi. I want like a new up and comer horror director. Someone who works for Blumhouse or something, and they start utilizing this, because that would truly be a fucking horror movie. You'd be like, I can't. This is too much.
They could, come up just because, there's probably things that we just can't really think of because it's so outside our, so outside our realm of imagination, but clearly not for AI.
Yeah. I'm like, is that a sexy dog? Is that a sexy cat? Maybe.
That one is horrifying.
The parrot, like the tail feathers turn into legs. Oh. Yeah. You're right though. This is like hell. This is the kind of shit you would see when you're like looking over. Oh my god, a fucking chihuahua's dancing. What is happening? Yeah. All right. Let's save you from all that. I do have. Oh, actually, let me do it like this. It's funny because I don't think all AI is bad. This might actually be a good use of AI. You tell me.
Can't go home smelling like a meth lab.
Yeah, you can. I do. Those, wow. Those, you're keeping those on, right?
I guess, but I really gotta.
Yeah, Mr. White. Yes, science.
Can't go home smelling like a meth lab.
Yeah, science.
I prefer the original. Felt like it didn't quite capture the same, energy.
When I first saw this, I was on my phone and I had scrolled up past the header. So I'm like, oh, I'll just watch this clip from Breaking Bad. And then I was like, wait, I don't remember any of this.
Lab.
Yeah, you can. I do. Those, wow.
They were so innocent at this time in the story.
What's that?
They were so innocent at this time, at this part of the story.
No one knew what was to become of them.
You're keeping those on, right?
I guess, but I really gotta.
Yeah, Mr. White. Yes, science.
Can't go home smelling.
I'm happy if AI just gets relegated to stupid, weird memes. I don't like the Studio Ghibli shit. I've started kind of muting it on my feed. But if that's where it stays, I don't mind, and stuff like this.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I have a different thought about it because I think the Studio Ghibli thing, like, I don't particularly like, it's like Totoro, or what was the name of that fucking cartoon that guy did? I can't remember, but it's, I get it, but like at one point, would it be cool? Like, I have 3 Claude Agent movies I can't do dick with because I made them in 2001. But if I could run them through like a filter and be like, all right, let's do this one as an anime. Let's do this one as a Bruce Timm animated cartoon or something like that. And it looked so legit that I could do something with it. Then at that point, I'm like, okay, so this is usable for me. And then maybe you can go in and tweak it so it doesn't really feel like you're just putting a filter on it or something.
Well, I think what you're talking about is more utilizing it as a tool. So you've got a thing that's, it's already conceptualized. It's already, you've got the visuals in your head. You just need help with it. It's like AI gives anyone a studio of 50 Korean animators sort of thing is what you're thinking. Whereas you used to actually have to go to Korea and get the animators. Now, there'll be like programs for that. Yeah, I think that's probably just the reality of what's coming.
Yeah.
But
I don't think it's far off.
It doesn't really matter what you think of it. At the end of the day, everyone has an opinion, but that's what it's going to be.
There was a guy who took the Studio Ghibli look and he ran a bunch of scenes from Lord of the Rings through it, and he made a trailer. And the trailer looked like a legit anime. I mean, the only thing that was off were the lip movements, like the mouth. But like, let's say, I don't know, they fix that in 6 months. Like, I think it could definitely be used as a tool to, convert some things, and it could be kind of fun. It could be kind of cool. I mean, me, like, I hate the whole nostalgia garbage, yada yada, or just even the idea of refreshing culture because, there's just no fucking creativity anymore. But it could be a way to sort of inject some life into some of these properties that we've had for a very long time, where it might seem like, oh, I would rewatch Batman Forever if animated by Bruce Timm, and if they made something that looked really good. Like, that would be kind of cool, maybe. But you're right, it would most likely just be a passing trend. I can't imagine it being like something that's
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll become like Well, okay, let's take a pretty major revolutionary item over the last 30 years, which is the digital camera. I started doing photography in 1996, maybe 95, back when it was dark rooms. And we asked our teacher, what do you think of these digital cameras? And we thought he would say, oh, I hate it. It's going to take away the art and everything. He was like, no, it's really exciting. It's not there yet, but yeah, it's the future. And now everyone has in their pocket the equivalent of what then would have been like a $20,000 camera.
Yeah.
And it hasn't resulted in this explosion of photographers. The people who are photographers are still photographers because they have the eye for art. They have the desire to create art and do all these things. What's happened is now anyone can do it if they want, but that doesn't mean anyone is doing it, and that's what's sort of bearing out. You've still got Villeneuve making Dune, and no one else is really doing that level of big cinematic visionary type cinema. But everyone has access to these crazy programs that can do all this shit, so I'm not super worried about it. Art will still be art, and you and I agree, most people do not have the eye for that stuff.
No, and again, it's just I think the people who are going to be utilizing it the mostly are going to be people who are like looking for someone. So it's like, I run a website and I need meta ads. Okay, maybe I'll just AI a bunch of shit because it'll be easier than me hiring someone. Or I'll hire someone who's going to AI a bunch of shit, and because it'll be cheaper than hiring a team of people, to work on Google ads or whatever, or whatever the graphic design job is. So I think in that sense, yeah, it would probably be, I think that's probably more likely. What's also likely is this. Have you ever seen Kung Fu like that before? I actually had to watch it twice. I was like, wait, are they really fast or am I?
At what time of the night were you watching it? Was it?
Oh yeah, I was like barely awake. I was like, what am I looking at? Yeah, Pixel Trader had a question, which he sent for free. This is not how we do things here. Like, you need to add money to this, but it's okay. It's the first time. Have you seen the old school Godzilla rendered in Blender? It's damn near indistinguishable from the old guy in a suit. I haven't, but I believe you. 100% I believe you. All right, let's go to this here. So this brings up, I want to show you this because this kind of brings up my next point. And that is this photo that surfaced. And I guess this was in the that JFK file. Have you seen this yet?
I haven't. No. I don't know if I believe this is a.
I think it looks pretty legit. I think this is. He's got a bong.
Ripping bongs with aliens.
Frat bros from the 90s back there.
One of them's probably Lee Harvey Oswald,
Oh, yeah. You got Jack Ruby over here. Yeah. So my thought being is, how I was thinking again about like my grandmother. Like, if I showed her this in the 90s, there's no way you would think it was fake. There's no version of reality where this is fake.
No, this would be on the front cover of friggin' Exposed Weekly or something.
You'd be like, oh my God. And so I'm thinking, like, what scares me is, what if, all right, put your fucking tinfoil hat on. What if this is real? And what if they're using AI as cover to throw in real information out there?
Dude, that's so funny. Because, in my book, weird things happen, and everyone's out there. And I remember when I first started writing, and I was like, how am I gonna this isn't like some plot hole shit, because I don't want to have an entire subplot of we got to cover this up and blah blah blah. That's all being cleared, because think about it. You could have a video of a spaceship flying down a Times Square and an alien coming out and taking photos. What's your first thing going to be? You're going to think, oh, that's fake.
Right, exactly.
So we're all, as anyone who's writing a story now is it's all, you get everything scot-free. You just say, well, no one believed it. All you have to do is everyone just thinks it's AI. Everyone thinks it's doctored. So no one believes anything. And that's already happening. People don't know what to believe.
Oh, and we've seen it a little bit, even in the political spectrum. There were times where they were like, "Oh, Biden didn't say that. That was AI." It's like, no, he said that. He said that. Or it's being used as a scapegoat to just be hand wave things away. Oh, that's not real. That's probably fake. It's like, I don't know, could be real, but yeah, it is problematic. And I'm just saying, what if this is a real photo? They were like, we're just gonna.
Neither of us were there,
Right, exactly. I didn't take it, I don't know. Could be real. It's real if you believe it.
All right, George.
Yeah. So I want to show you this. And this I thought was great, because I thought this was, if there was ever anything that seems to sum up the entirety of, I would say even entertainment, but definitely not just our space, but music, movies, TV, and forever. It's this meme. Where'd it go? Did I not share it? Okay, there it is. So it says, idea being cool results, and there's a gap.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, idea being cringe and results. And I thought, it's kind of true. Because sometimes you go back and you look at shit that was really, hard hitting, just not even that long ago. And you're like, oh, this is kind of hard to watch. This is not, that sort of cultural Overton.
Do you have any examples of something that is just a great example of this that you can think of?
Well, I would say Comicsgate. The entirety.
Disavow.
No, but I mean, just a lot of the stuff that I see online. Yeah, oh God,
it is true though. A lot of things that you do in the past, you look back on and you're like, wow, I don't it's like, why did I say that? Why did I do that? I don't know. I did. And yeah, you see. And but in the moment, it felt like the right thing to do. I would need to see some big kind of broad. I get what you're saying. The things generally in the past can end up looking cringe, and usually it's when people are really fervent. People are really passionate about something, and then the reason has gone, and you look back and you're like, what was the big deal?
Right.
So yeah,
I think that there's just I think about 90s comedies or TV shows that were on sci-fi, or there are certain things that at the time you're like, oh, this is kind of cool and hard hitting and interesting, and then you look back and you're like, this is terrible. I can't.
Well, comedy, especially sitcoms.
Yeah,
I mean, sitcoms became cringe overnight. Yeah, we were all sitting around going, oh yeah, did you see this new thing? And then Arrested Development came out. Or Seinfeld, because Seinfeld was still 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I didn't really even think of it as a sitcom, even though it kind of technically was. But certain things came out, and all of a sudden, the idea of the structured sitcom, as it had been for 30 years, was just ridiculous and laughable almost overnight. So yeah.
Well, I think too, even and this is is going to be a hard one for a lot of people to hear. But certain hard hitting shows like The Sopranos, I watch a lot of clips of The Sopranos, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's not as real as I think we all thought it was. Like there's certain aspects to it where you're like, that's pretty good. Yeah, but it's like nobody would say that or nobody would act like that, or like the way that the scene dynamic unfolds is like, yeah, that it's still TV. It's like, and it's a hard thing to, I think, to like really put a finger on. Um like 24. I used to love 24. I go watch back and watch 24 now, and you're kind of like, this is absurd. Like you can live in the moment and be interested in it, and and you kind of, whether you recognize it or don't recognize it. But then, when you kind of go back and really watch it, and it's not as hard hitting, or maybe it's a little bit more passive. You're just like, this is kind of ridiculous. Like I can't believe we all gathered around and talked about this every day or every Monday or Tuesday or whatever it was. Yeah, but I think, yeah, especially comics, not comic books, but I mean like comedians. Like, yeah, sometimes you watch these old sets and you're like, yeah, but at the same time, you got to climb that mountain. Like you have to assume, well, we wouldn't be where we are now unless we had that aspect. And it's like,
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
why I don't
anything.
really lose any sleep over it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just change your mind. Sometimes you just become less passionate. Sometimes you just move on, whatever it is. But I don't look back and like go, oh, that was like super cringe. I can't believe, that whatever I was into that or anything. Because at the time, it was the time, like for instance, Sopranos. Well, Sopranos at the time was really different. And
Oh, sure.
compared to what was around it. But now, there's untold number of gritty crime or whatever shows that you can sort of put it up against. And it's actually a bit like that with art. Like, imagine today. Oh, that's actually a really good point. What's really cringe today is when artists will like take a big canvas and just like throw paint around and stuff.
Yeah,
And
the
go like,
abstract
oh, here's an
wannabe
art.
Jackson Pollock shit.
Well, yeah, you're like, yeah, that is super cringe in 2025. Yep. In the 60s and 70s or the 50s, that was like, whoa, never seen this before. So that is, there you go. Art is one of those things that definitely.
I had been to probably about 10 years ago, like an opening at some gallery, and it was some woman who was doing just that. And she had some big stupid dress on, a big fucking feather in her hair. It was like obvious that, and everyone there was all kind of like a little overdressed, and not in like their tuxedos or anything, just like they're all wearing Gucci and Dolce Gabbana and that kind of shit. They all had like pompadours, and it was just a scene. It was just an excuse to fucking hang out and get drunk, and everyone thought that they were something special. It's like, you guys are all fucking losers. None of you have any discernible skill, and you don't quite understand. I mean, a lot of times it was like the money was just an excuse to fucking either get laundered or for a write-off, like for some tax write-off.
Yeah, 100%. That's the whole setup. But what's funny now about the art scene is it's become like jack art. It's just shock value. It's just, what is the weirdest shock thing that I can do to catch the eye of the right person that I need to, show this off to the right people. So it's totally a bizarre world.
Anyway, I thought I saw this and I was like, I took a second. I mean, 78,000 likes, and I didn't have that many when I pulled it, but I was like, you know what? There's a lot of truth to this sort of passing kind of meme here, because it was like, yeah, and you do think that's the thing. Idea being cool. Everyone thinks that what they're doing at the moment is like, this is awesome. I'm doing some new shit here, and it's like, no, I don't think so. So, I don't know. Just food for thought, everyone. Just wanted to put that out there. Oh shit!
Stay cringy. Well,
Yeah.
I don't think you can do. I don't think you can actually do anything without anything cool without potentially risking being cringy. Otherwise, you're just super cynical, and you're kind of emo at that point. Like,
Yeah.
you're just like a teenager who's saying, "Oh, you know, everything sucks, everything's lame. I'm too good for, you know, this and that." So I think you have to sort of risk being a little cringy, like Platoon. Stark the Con brings up.
There's your example.
Pinnacle of
That's a good
groundbreaking.
example.
You know?
But you know what's funny is that when I made it, it was cringy, but not in a bad way. I mean, it was more cringy in like a, oh, he's saying some things we shouldn't be saying. Like that's a good example. Go watch some old South Parks. Go watch some like late 90s, early 2000s South Parks. You're like, oh, this is terrible. Like, I can't believe this took off. All right, Mike, I have some food for you. Food for thought is what I have here. This is our new segment, Food for Thought, where I find foods from around the internet, and you get to tell me what you think.
Boneless stuffed butthole. Well, you know.
Would you buy it? Would you eat it?
I don't quite like stuffed meats. I don't know what I mean, what are they stuffing it with? Clearly, it's not bone.
I can answer that, actually. They're stuffing it with... where is it? Why can't I find nothing today? There it is. They're stuffing it with this.
They didn't really think that one through.
Yeah.
Dill
I think this is
flavored
real too.
Maybe.
It says "Good day, mate." I guess it's dildo.
It's peppered style. I don't know. It looks very. I reckon that's probably a fake one. I'm gonna look it up. Dildo.
Can I get some real dildo?
Grandma's dildo brand. No, I don't know. I don't think that's real. You know, if you can.
Yeah, my wife sent me to the store. Pick up some dildo. I brought this back, and she was angry. She was like, "That's not what I was talking about." What's that?
Go to Whole Foods and get a dildo for me. A bag of dildos.
Yeah, thank you, babe. Yeah, I need 2 bags of dildos.
I need a whole bag.
So I can stuff my buffalo meat. All right. All right, Mike. I got something else for you here. Tell me what you think. This is pretty important. Pretty important stuff. Do you want to be a bottom or do you want to be a top?
Definitely top, I think. You're gonna catch the smell, but you have less chance of something accidentally splashing onto your head somehow.
Yeah, but the problem is now you're relying on me to give you toilet paper, and if I'm not there,
that's true.
You know,
excuse me. Yeah, something stingy.
Square. Dimwitted Chicken goes, "Oh, it's the double upper decker." Yeah.
And does the top toilet, when you flush, does it flush down through the bottom? Because that's usually.
Let's see. Yeah, that's a good point. Does this
you could lean back? The bottom guy, you could lean back and put your head into the guy's underwear. Yeah.
I'm going to steal your comment, Dimwitted Chicken, and I'm going to be the funny one. I wonder if I can.
You're going to claim stolen comedy?
I don't know how to do it. Go back. The double upper decker. There you go. Will Valley, smartest, funniest guy alive. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd want to sit on the bottom or the top.
Pros and cons to each, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is like there's a ladder. Like, I don't even know if I would need the ladder. I mean, you'd only need the ladder if someone else is sitting on the toilet. Otherwise, you would just use this as a step. There's just a lot of things to consider here. So, Dimwit the Chicken remembers. He remembers. Yes, that was the joke.
What's that?
So there was it was like a Assassin's Creed, and there was a guy, and it was like Enzo or whatever the fuck his name is was killing one of the Brits, and he kept jerking it off. And I said the British are coming, but it was because someone in the comments said it. Anyway, I found the same joke or the same video like a month or two later, and it had like 400 likes on it. It wasn't my joke. Yeah. Dinwoody, good job on that, bro. That's some fucking Camel lore. Oh boy. All right. The next one here. If you guys have any questions, I'm running out of material.
About double-decker toilets. If you have any questions.
Yeah, or just anything. Yeah. We're going to come to, okay. We're on to our next topic here. A little segment I like to call Women a Plague.
Every week there's so much content about this, it's crazy.
You sent me something too. I gotta find it. I think I forgot to pull it, but here we go.
My coworkers keep saying I need to make like a tech TikTok, because if you look at my TikTok, you'd never guess I have a job. So anyways, this is our current workstation. Callie and I are what you call product managers. Callie, what is your team over?
My team is over reporting and internal tools.
And I am over what we call card experience. So we work on like anything from activating your credit card to freezing, reissue, shipping, all the good stuff. What's a PM?
We help prioritize and help the engineers stay on track and help them know what to build so that you have a product to use.
Yeah, exactly. So you might have a team like the engineers actually do the developing, the coding, which is the impressive part. Designers also do the impressive part.
Oh, you mean they don't hang out in the pool all day and attach titles to their names? Okay.
Which is everything you see when you're in a software. Product managers essentially decide what the team's going to work on, do competitive research, prioritize bugs, keep everyone focused, motivated, and driving toward So
how do they do that? Fucking word salad. It's just worthless nonsense.
Oh yeah, I noticed. Did you see they use the word over? What are you over? Like that corporate speak where they take verbs and change them a little bit.
That's what we do.
So nothing.
And we work from home, which means you work from the internet.
So this is our office today.
Thanks for tuning in. I hope all you coworkers are happy. I'm branching out into the tech niche.
STEM.
Fucking end it. Just Meteor 2025. I can't fucking.
I know. I mean, I hope these women realize how lucky they are to be living during this time. Their grandmothers were toiling in the fields and washing clothes by hand as they look after 12 children.
Yeah.
This is what was going on with Indiegogo. I don't know if you guys remember, the CEO put out a video and it was clearly green screen. And she was like, oh yeah, we all work from home. We love it. when we have a meeting, we have to make sure we get out of our pajamas or something. I was like, yeah, that sounds about right, based on what I've seen the site is going like.
How's your father says they're paid 30,000? No, they're probably paid like 100,000.
They're managers.
Yeah, they're like that's
they're managing teams.
Bandito says Doge has already flagged their jobs. Well, so this is the other thing that's frustrating is that Doge only has oversight over government jobs, and of course, there's going to be billions in government spending that is wasteful, but doesn't do anything for private sector. And so, unfortunately, private sector jobs are, whatever the corporation is, that's where the heart of the issue lies. So long as these jobs and these fucking bimbos that, go to granola bar or granola, and they call it granola bar, or, eat yogurt while on Zoom meetings all day, that's not being affected. And there was another video that came out, and I didn't pull it because I only saw a reaction video to it. I didn't see the original video. And it was these women who went out to dinner, and everyone at the restaurant was just other women. Because men they're not going on dates, I guess, or they're not taking these people out. And so, because they don't have the money to take them out, because these women are making $80,000, $90,000 a year and just hanging out with themselves. And it's just like, but then they're bitching. There's no fucking men out there. Well, the men don't have any money to take you out because you spend.
Oh yeah, it's already started. The whole we can't find men that are earning enough.
Yeah.
For us to go out with. That's already started, and it's hilarious because that was the whole, what happened to the whole pay gap nonsense.
Right. But at the same time, I'm getting paid $90,000 to sit in a pool all day and literally answer emails and approve or disapprove credit cards. And it is. I don't know how you fix it. Like, when Elon bought Twitter and laid off, what was like 80% of the workforce or something insane. That was a real shot across the bow. But unfortunately, I haven't seen it like too far past that. I know Google laid off like 8,000 people. And I know that like BuzzFeed and all these other fucking worthless companies are dropping people like flies. But the jobs are still there. Like there are still plenty of people out there who go to a day camp, a fucking 6.5, 7 hour hug box every day and do nothing. And it's egregious. It's getting to, what do they call it? Universe 25, on super speed. Like it's, we need to course correct real fast. Cause I don't, if it just continues, it's just going to be a catastrophe. It's going to be a fucking unmitigated catastrophe.
Well, the Western countries, the productivity in the West is tumbling, and people don't really understand productivity very well. But I think Elon said it best when he said, "If nobody makes stuff, there's no stuff."
Right.
And all of these factors obviously tie into productivity, but yeah, if you're just moving things around the board and not actually making or creating, then all you win in the end is inflation.
Yeah.
So I think the reckoning comes, but it leaves a lot of damage along the way. And I don't know, watching stuff like this makes me very happy that I work at a company where everything we do is for profit and money. So there's no lounging in the pool on a work day.
Yeah, I had an interview with these people, and they were like, it was clear that their entire company was being run by a super PAC. And I was just like, so you guys don't have any incentive to drive viewerships or drive subscriptions or anything. And I was like, well, so what the fuck are you doing here? Like, you honestly don't care if you sink or swim. It's whether or not you guys get whatever that next grant is to continue essentially worthless content. And so I had the interview. I met with 3 women, and I must have asked the wrong questions because I said, yeah, so how do you guys, generate revenue? And then they like hemmed and hawed, and one of them said like, "Oh, donations," and I was like, "Oh, so you're not a real company." I mean, I didn't say you're not a real company, but I was like, "Okay, so yeah." But it was, and then at one point I said, "What kind of equipment do you use?" And one of the women said, "Oh, well, it's whatever they handed us. I don't even know." I was like, and she was the head fucking, the head director of production. I was like, "You don't know what cameras you use?" It's really scary. It's like, why are you here? What did you do to afford to be able to put in this position? Because clearly you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And to me, it came off like these women all met each other at like some fucking campaign rally or some political thing. And then they were able to sweet talk their way into getting a good amount of money. They hired all their friends, and they're like, "Oh shit, we actually need a video production guy." And God forbid the video production guy actually knows what the fuck he's talking about. It was nuts. I was kind of like flabbergasted, but it was also very eye-opening because I was like, okay, so and this was a conservative website too. So I was like, it's pervasive everywhere. It's not specific to liberals or anything. It's just it's whatever the ultra feminist mentality has turned into. Yeah, Bandito says the next question, what kind of lizard person species are? Yeah, that was the real one that they were like, oh, he knows. What level of tinfoil do I need to protect myself? And I actually wanted to bring something up here. It's actually something I'm working on with I don't know if I should say anything. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to say anything. But I want to bring this up because I think it's important. And no one watches my show anyway. Let's see here. I'm going to do share screen. I'm going to do desktop. This one? No, I guess this one. Okay. So I have these here. This is all true. And I want to show you this. This is some fucking crazy shit. Look at this. You see this, Mike? What do you see? I mean, it's not true.
Women, young women. Yeah, more women. Women.
Okay. So here's my Bandito says trollops. Right. So one thing I noticed. First of all, I want to tell you what this is. This is my Facebook feed of who I should be friends with. None of this is curated. I didn't delete people. This was just what it was. And I thought, how fucking bad is it? I was like, is Facebook turning into a dating app? Because all of these women, most of them are even headshots. They're glamour shots. It's not like, oh yeah, I'm just hanging out with my friend, or this is my husband, or this is my boyfriend, or this is, I'm, doing just hanging out with other people. These are literally profile shots that are being, whether there's purposefully curated by the algo or this is just the new mandate. I think it's insane that Facebook is now pushing, and it's just,
So
I mean, look here.
Some of these don't have any mutuals. So why are they?
That's the other thing.
Yeah, so why are they telling you should follow Liesl Van? Like what?
Right, exactly. Gabby Witt, who the fuck are you? Hope Joy, he doesn't have her face on camera. But like, and when they do actually say it's a mutual, it's one. I think it's nuts. So I think that, there's definitely something going on, something bubbling under the crust here.
Yeah, we're in a friggin' civilizational ending population decline.
Yeah.
At the same time, while hypergamy is being attacked from all angles. So, feminism has made it so that women are more successful in school, in business, well, at least as employees, and they don't want men anymore, and men don't want the women anymore because, you know, pick your poison. So yeah, everyone's just like everyone says it's impossible to find anyone on both sides for different reasons. So I
Yeah,
guess
well,
they're
that's
just
because
like,
these women want someone who's in the, top 4 percentile. And, like they consider average normal guys to be ugly. And that goes all the way down to the 4s, 5s, and 6s who think that. It's like, I don't know what the fuck you're smoking, but you're crazy. Who was it here? Someone said that they were. God, who said? Oh, they're ad bots. Marumi, I've looked at a bunch of them. I literally went through their timelines. They're not. They really aren't. I mean, maybe 1 or 2 of the 40 are, but I've gone through a lot of these just to make sure. And they fucking unless they're like going back to 2014. Like that's how hardcore they're trying to convince you. But I think they're real people.
there was a video that came across my feed today. It was a woman who's in her 30s, early 30s, and she's saying, what's up with all of these men in their 30s who just want to, what did she say? She was kind of ghetto. She's like, oh, they want a woman who's going to hustle with them. And I think by that she means like build up, whatever. Build up a job or what, like work, whatever. And she was like, no, I'm 30. I want babies.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, and all these men, they want, a woman who's like hustling. I was hustling in my 20s. And, so she's blaming the men. And all I'm thinking is, yeah, that's because you're looking at this tiny percentage of men who have the choice of any woman they want, who are, what are they, like 6 foot whatever and earn hundreds of thousands of dollars and are super good looking. I'm sure there are tens of thousands of men that she would never even look at who would say, yeah, let's, get married and have kids. But she would never even see them. She would never even look at them.
And I think for a lot of them, it's because they would almost rather be part of a harem. They'd be like, you know what? No, I can be a side bitch. I can be the 4th or 5th bitch. I don't care as long as, I'm with that high value guy. The problem is like, that lifestyle is very diminishing. And you go watch any of these manosphere guys like Better Bachelor or Taylor the Fiend or any of these guys. And they pull videos all day, hundreds of videos on TikTok of women in their late 30s and 40s just fucking bawling their eyes out. I got divorced. It was the worst idea of my fucking life. There's no one out there. Because what's happened is a lot of the regular guys are like, fuck it. I'm going to be a master at Dark Souls. Like you're going to force me to be celibate. I've talked about this weeks ago. There's a documentary that came out, or like one of these video essays on YouTube. And it was about a guy who's like, I invested all my time into video games specifically because I could see an outcome. Because guys are very goal driven, they're very goal oriented. And so if there's no goal, if there's no chance, if it's like I'm going to go on, if I have to swipe 1,000 times to get 2 coffee dates, and then it might turn into nothing. Well, shit, that's time I could be fucking, leveling up in whatever game I'm playing, or leveling up in life, going to the gym, or working on your business, or whatever it is. And these women are just fucking staying at home. They got fucking boxes of wine and cats and oh my god.
If you want to see where the future of the West is headed, you just look to Japan and South Korea, and it's like legions of men just completely out of society. These crazy women who are just desperate for any man that they can get, but there aren't any. And there was a video circulating of, you know, someone had a baby and everyone was just like, oh my God, looking at it like it was this thing that they'd never seen before. Because they're kind of rare. It's bizarre, but that's where we're headed.
Dim-witted Chicken says leftover women. Yeah, it's almost like a less extreme version of Children of Men. But it's like, you know, that's the sci-fi version of what we're going through right now. There's just there's no, because the end goal is the same. There's no fucking kids because no one's getting together. And you know, I remember, I don't know if Mike, if you've seen the movie, but I love that movie. I watch it at least once a year. I do still think it's probably one of the best sci-fi movies to come out maybe in my lifetime. And there are bits where, like, just in the background, there's a pill you can take over the counter. Commit suicide. Life is so fucking hard. I don't want to do it anymore. You know, that when the kid dies in the beginning, baby Diego, and they're just like, I need to take the day off. I can't fucking deal with the fact that the youngest guy on Earth was killed. Like, it's some fucking hard shit. And yeah, I do genuinely worry for the future because this is
well, I'm not
shit.
as worried, only because I feel like it self-corrects like one way or the other, you know. And well, I should be worried because that might be like a complete invasion of our culture by a stronger, dominant, more breeding culture. But you know, it will fix itself in terms of like one way or another. So, but yeah, it very much could be the end of the West as we know it. This never happened before in Western civilization, where you just have women aren't having babies and men don't want to have sex with women because it's not worth it, or at least men can't. Most men can't have sex, and other men don't want to commit because why would they? And then people don't want to get married because the whole system's against them. And yeah, and you know, a lot of the times people don't have kids because they can't afford them. And, you know, even if you can afford them, the only way to afford them is to have both parents working, which means you got to put them into childcare. So it's like, oh, I got to give your kids up to the state or whatever during the, you know, time when you should be spending time with them most. And it's all messed up. It's all backwards. And it's all super frustrating because, like we said, keep saying, these are all lessons society learned over thousands and thousands of years and codified into traditions that were handed down that were just completely thrown out the window for empowerment and equality and equity and all these other buzzwords.
I think that's another thought too, you know, like, oh, I got married too young and then I've changed. It's like you entered into an agreement that thousands of years of people have already decided was the best for our culture. See, that's the problem, is that every generation has the hubris to think that they're smarter than the last generation.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're not. You know what? Socialism ain't going to work for you, buddy. You know, whatever you think, you know, the, well, I don't know what I would call it, just the hot topic du jour is, whatever the trend is. You know, that you're like, oh, I'm gonna buck the system. I'm gonna be the guy to fucking change it all. No, you're not. It's you're gonna try. You're gonna be retarded, and then you're gonna realize how things need to be. And there's good in that a little bit. That like in your 20s, you're like, I am gonna be different. That's good.
Yeah.
Live
I
that
thought
out.
the same. I saw.
Everybody think. I thought by 30 years old I was gonna be fucking Quentin Tarantino. I was retarded, and then reality sinks in. But and it's good to have those dreams because it can definitely build towards something. But the problem with what we see here is that these are people in their, I mean, if you're in your 20s, I mean, what are you gonna do? But if you're in your late 30s and 40s and you still think that, lady, you gotta come back down to earth. You know, like,
well, and it's also endemic, you know. It's not just people here and there. It's everywhere. It's, you know, and
it's in Japan. What do they call it? The Hikikomori or something? Like those guys who just stay in their room all day and play video games, and their families have to feed them. It's like, you know, and the frustrating thing is, I do think that, you know, like, because you still see guys that are willing to date, but they're not getting the dates because these women are like, well, no, sorry, he doesn't make over $100,000 a year. I saw a video recently where a woman said, I mean, what is 100? Really? 6 figures? You mean low 6 figures? I want someone mid to high 6 figures. Where do you live? It's just like, you know, they're like, oh, there are guys making 98,000 or 101,000 and saying 6 figures like it qualifies. It's like, I mean, it's, yeah. I mean, the way the goalpost keeps getting pushed. And then also,
well, you know, I mean, women are going to be women. Yeah. Like, women are women. That's what they are. That like, they were made the way they were made in the same way that we were made the way we were made. That's why a woman cares about what her man does, whereas a man doesn't care. Like, he will go out. He'll probably prefer to go out with a janitor than a boss bitch, you know, because she's probably cooler. That's just how it is. But the point is, we already knew that. We already figured that out, and you know, and that's why there's so many videos of women going, I don't want to be empowered. I don't want to work 9 to 5. I want to just hang out at home and clean and, you know, run after kids if I have to or whatever. But I can't because now I've got to go to work because I got all this, you know. It's just nature playing out as we always knew it would. It's just now it's all messed up and no one can right the ship because our whole society has been rewired for this.
I do think there is a little bit of a grift with that. I think that there are some women who are playing into the trad wife role because they can get a lot of guys who are essentially simping for that. And they're like, you're right. We do need more of this. Here's $10. You know?
Well, yeah, like, if you're a trad wife online, you're probably not a trad wife because that's not what trad wives do. They don't put themselves online and make vlogs about what they're doing. I mean, maybe there are some, but I think I think a lot of them get exposed anyway as not being, you know, real.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, you know, I'm a trad wife. Look at my giant knockers as they make an apple pie. It's like, I don't think you're, you know, okay, lady. But that's like, you know, self-declaring yourself as an alpha or a stoic. It's like, you know, a real alpha out there fucking saying how great he is all the time. You know, it's just like, yeah, you just let's fucking pull it back. Yeah. Anyway, I just I thought this was very interesting. Kind of sad, but you know, it's where we are. Oh, you don't need to see that blister packing. I have shit on my desktop for fucking action figures. But
having said that, I do know a lot of people who have met their partners on Facebook.
I met my wife on Facebook, but it was not like this. I mean, she found me at Double Toasted. I hosted a show and she texted me, you know, like, but that was much more. It wasn't like, oh, who's this cute guy's profile pic? It was, oh, I saw him. You know, like we were in a community of like, you know, she liked the show. She liked the show for years. You know, she didn't select me randomly from a fucking graphic, you know, an option chart. So, yeah. Well, that's it, everyone. That's the show. That's all I got.
I had I mean, related to this topic, there have been a bunch of, like, there was that, did you see the one with the woman who comes on and she's like, here's why I contemplated divorce this week. And then she just goes out to list, like, she's got this perfect guy, but, you know, she just wishes he would help out a little bit more and put the trash out. And you can see, you know, she's very well put together. She's quite young, ish. and she got this really nice house and everything. And it was framed from her perspective as like, oh yeah, you know, if you love a woman, she shouldn't have to ask or something. And it's just this giant kind of like, no, you have to be sympathetic with women's suffering and everything. Anyway, it goes viral, and you find out, oh, she's working at home. She's got a nanny. He's a electrical linesman. He's out there working on the friggin' wires, traveling everywhere. He still does all these things, drives the kids to school and everything. And he's just like, the whole thing just kind of crumbles. On top of the fact, she's saying, if he respected me, I wouldn't have to ask him to put the garbage out.
Oh yeah.
Like, lady, if you respected him, you wouldn't rant about your marriage, which seems like amazing, by the way, on Twitter and putting him on blast. I mean, we don't know who he is, but all your friends and family do, and his family does. Like, this is, and his kids, he's like that. She says they have 4 kids. They're probably at school. Everyone knows who the mum is. Now she's viral. All of the kids are like pointing at the kids at school saying, haha, your mom thought about divorcing your dad because he wasn't taking out the one guy just said that I think the perfect response, which I think kind of sums up why men and women butt heads in this way so often. Because he said, well, I forgot to put the rubbish out one day because I was late for work. No, he said, I didn't put the rubbish out one day because I was late for work. He didn't forget. He knew he didn't put it out, but he was late, so he left. And she said, yeah, but that means I had to put it out.
Oh,
and
God
that means
forbid.
I was late for work. And so she's like, so you're putting the burden onto me. And someone responded saying, no, that's not what happened. You didn't have to put it out. You could have just left it there. He knew he didn't put it out. He would have put it out when he came home.
Right.
You just wanted it put out, and you can't leave things be. It's like, that's
well, I
you.
think there's
that's a difference, and that's where a lot of these things kind of like end up butting heads. Anyway, it was a really interesting social experiment because I think most people were like, this woman is so out of line. But then other women like, no, she's right.
Well, there's, women crave validation the way men crave sex. So, it's if she puts that online, the likelihood for victim mentality to take hold is immense.
Yeah.
And, it's like they get off on it. It's just like, holy cow, all these people agree with me. And it's just, that's worth it. And what's scary is that it's almost like when cable TV came out, people lost their jobs because they were over inundated by content. They couldn't quite understand, they'd stay home and just fucking watch TV all day and just, oh my God, I can't believe 50 channels, And I think that's what we're seeing with the internet now is that because you can, people are doing. And it's like that Ian Malcolm quote, just because you can doesn't, I don't know how he says it. He's like, you didn't think whether or not you should. And there's an option. It's like, yeah, well, how about just not? How about don't fucking talk shit? How about realize that your husband's out there doing shit right now? And ultimately, a lot of these women, and I think a lot of it is like a cultural buildup. There's a society now that grew up on YouTube and Netflix. Well, what did YouTube and Netflix give you? It gave you the option to do whatever you want immediately. You don't have to go to the store to buy a video game anymore. You just download it. You don't have to wait a week to watch a show. You just binge it. And so there's no delayed gratification. It's just, I want it and I want it now. And if I don't feel, happy immediately, then it's got to be the person's fault closest to me. And that's fucking detrimental to just, the basic standards of society and what keeps it afloat. And, and we're seeing it in real time.
Tying into that, I mean, that's what was so funny that came out. He's working on the friggin' electrical lines. Like,
so you can put this video out.
You literally couldn't have picked a better example of a job that only men do, that is 100% essential to society functioning. And he's out there doing that, you know, day in, day out. It's probably, I would imagine, dangerous work, kind of scary work as well. Not for everyone. And, you know, I don't know what she does. She works from home. Maybe she's out in the pool. Who knows?
Yeah, right. Maybe we saw
they have a
earlier.
pool. Essential and high risk, says Murambi. So it was just amazing how the whole thing played out. You know, there's another thing we can talk about if you don't have a topic. Is that
Wait, hold on. Don't say anything. Someone needs to ask for the topic.
Oh, okay.
And they need to ask with $50.
Ask.
Wait.
Otherwise, we're just gonna sit here like this.
Yeah. Hey, Mike remembers. Remember the time I just ended the stream? We were like 15 minutes in. I was like, I'm out.
Was that because of Rob talking about a certain condiment?
That was the one time. I was like, I can't do mayo. I can't. Oh, my brain's going to melt. But the other time was, I was like, we're not getting any super chats. So fuck y'all. So I'll wait. You guys, you have until...
The thing is, like, you want to end it, you know, so it doesn't... you know.
Yeah, don't threaten me with a good time. I'm going to go back to bed. It's 4 a.m. here. So.
Threaten you with anything.
All right, everyone.
I remember. Camel is the
Larry David of Camel Nights. Well, I mean, there's only 2 people on Camel Nights. But okay.
What would that make me?
You're the fat friend. What's his name? All right, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give you a count of I'm gonna count down from 5. 5, 4, 3, 2.5.
Doesn't count, Paulus.
2.
I'm
1. Good night, everyone.
So we are delighted to present James Brown on our stage on this show. So let's have a fine welcome for a very fine talent.
Yeah. Now shorty, she in the club, she dancing for dollars. She got a thing for that Gucci, that Fendi, that Prada, that DCBG, the Berry Dolce and Gabbana. She feed the foolish fantasy, they pay her 'cause they want her. I spit a little G, man, and my gang got her. An hour later, had that butt up in the Ramada. Them chicken niggas in her ear saying they think about her. I got the bitch by the bar trying to get a drink about her. She like my style, she like my smile, she like the way I talk. She from the country, think she like me 'cause I'm from New York. I ain't that brother trying to holler 'cause I want some head. I'm that brother trying to holler 'cause I want some bread. I could care less how she perform when she in the bed. Trick, hit that track, catch a date and come to pay the kid. Look, baby, this is simple, you can't see. You fucking with me, you fucking with a PIMP. I don't know what you heard about me, but a bitch can't get $1 out of me. No Cadillac, no perms, you can't see that I'm a motherfucking PIMP. I don't know what you heard about me, but a bitch can't get $1 out of me. No Cadillac, no perms, you can't see that I'm a motherfucking PIMP. I showed it, I showed it.
So you know how those lids are, because this is, well, I'm just gonna speak, okay? So this is it. So you know how those lids on those Starbucks cups, they're white, right? And so if you wear lipstick, they get all over the lid. And so then I find myself in meetings if I'm the only woman, and that's kind of it. So I keep taking the lid off and having my cup out so that I don't have that big lipstick mark on the lid. So I said, can we do something about the color of the lid? conversation.